You know, it strikes me how many songs out there paint this picture of perfect, everlasting love.
Yeah, totally.
But isn't it often the ones that explore the complexities, maybe the cracks that really stick with you?
Absolutely. And that's kind of the territory we're getting into today.
Okay.
We're doing a deep dive into Vanessa Garcia's Inevitable. Now, on the surface, yeah, it might sound like a really tender ballad, finding the one.
Right.
But underneath all that sweetness, it's been described as an emotional autopsy.
Wow.
And even a reckoning disguised as romance.
Ah.
Heavy stuff.
Okay, emotional autopsy. That's quite a phrase. And yeah, to understand this fascinating contrast, we've gathered some really good material.
Well, yeah.
We've got a detailed review and analysis of the song itself from TATANKA, which really dissects it. And then to get a feel for the artist, Vanessa Garcia, we've got some biographical articles from Diario El Salvador.
Great. So the goal here for this deep talk is really to explore how the song is put together, the lyrics, the music. And connect that back to who Vanessa Garcia is. Hopefully by the end, you'll get why this seemingly sweet song carries such a, maybe unsettling weight.
Okay, let's unpack this then. So when you first hit play on Inevitable, those opening lines, they really do give you that classic love song vibe, don't they?
They absolutely...
Where were you? I'd been searching for you for a long time. I wanted you with me. Yeah. Your hand over mine dispelled all harm. I had already been lost. I found myself again by being with you. It's just immediate relief connection.
It really is. There's a real vulnerability there, isn't there? That feeling of finally finding, solace in someone.
Yeah.
But this is exactly where it starts to get interesting, where it pivots. That TATANKA review immediately calls it a layered lament masquerading as a love song.
Right, that contrast again.
And yeah, an emotional autopsy.
Yeah.
So it makes you ask, okay, wait, what is it about this seemingly tender start that leads to such a starkly different take? What deeper truths about relationships is it maybe hinting at? This whole emotional autopsy idea. It suggests it's not just about the spark, right? It's like a detailed look at the remains, maybe, hinting at that often painful process of figuring out why something failed, even if it felt so strong at first.
And it's not just what she's saying, it's how. The reviewer points out the music itself, the structure, feels almost organic, like it's unraveling like memory itself.
Exactly.
It doesn't stick to the usual verse-chorus thing. It kind of shifts and evolves.
That's a really key observation. The review notes how it moves from this intimate acoustic feel early on to something that brings in elements of, dissonance.
Yeah.
It's almost like the initial nice harmony starts to fray, become a bit unsettling.
Yeah, mirroring the lyrics.
Precisely. This structural fluidity, it really reflects how someone might actually process a complex, maybe feeling relationship. It's not linear, is it?
No, not at all.
It's more like, as a review says, stumbling over conflicting thoughts.
And
it just highlights how messy love often is, how it resists neat boxes.
Totally. And as the song goes on, the lyrics, they start to introduce this element of doubt, don't they? There's this one line that really jumped out at me. Sé que más da mi amor no es suficiente, pero cura sus mujeres razón, which translates to, I know, what does it matter? My love is not enough, but it heals its womanly reasons. The reviewer calls this self-aware mockery. What do you think is going on there?
Oh, that line is so telling. There's this real undercurrent of skepticism, Like the singer is acknowledging, yeah, my love has limits.
Right.
It's almost detached, isn't it? Kind of belittling its own power while also sort of grasping at any little benefit it might still offer.
Like trying to convince yourself.
Exactly. Like trying to convince yourself something strong when you deep down know it's faltering. The song starts with these seemingly open confessions, but then gradually this disillusionment just creeps in. It colors everything. And knowing García is an engineer too, it makes you wonder if that analytical side plays into this almost detached observation of her own feelings.
That's a fascinating thought. And then we get to the end of the song. But it's not really a neat conclusion, is it?
Not at all.
It ends with the phrase, este amor al finés, this love is finally, and then just silence.
Yeah.
Fades out super abruptly.
Yeah, and this is where it gets really, really interesting. That sudden ending and how the reviewer interprets that muffled final sound. It's so powerful.
What do they say it sounds like?
They suggest it sounds like posible, which isn't a real word, right? But it hovers near impossible, impossible, pasado past, and illusorio, illusory.
Wow, impossible past illusory.
Yeah, so this deliberate ambiguity, it just leaves you hanging, and it forces you, the listener, to confront the unresolved nature of it all. What does this love finally become?
It's like she can't even say it, can't name what it's turned into. The review calls it a brilliant, brutal ellipsis, stating the answer is everything and nothing. That really hits home.
It does. And if you connect that back to the song as a whole, it just reinforces this idea that we're not getting a love story with a clear, happy ending or even a clear, sad ending.
Okay.
It's more an exploration of like potential disintegration. The reviewer makes a really crucial point. Inevitable isn't about love being strong forever. It's about the inevitability that belief gives way to clarity. It's that tension, between the initial feeling and the eventual, maybe painful, clear-eyed view.
So it really is that reckoning disguised as romance. You're hearing the words of deep affection.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's this growing awareness, this almost clinical observation that maybe, just maybe, love alone is never enough.
Exactly that. The song doesn't dismiss that initial beauty, that vulnerability of falling in love. Not at all.
No.
But it also bravely faces that often unspoken truth. Those feelings don't always guarantee success. It captures that moment when, raw emotion bumps up against this dawning wisdom. A clarity that can be freeing, but also really painful.
This paints Vanessa García as a really insightful artist. Let's shift focus a bit to her background. The Diario El Salvador articles, they reveal quite a multifaceted person.
Yeah, definitely.
She's only 23, a Salvadoran artist, and she's not just a singer-songwriter, she's also a dancer, a musical theater performer.
That's quite a mix.
Right. That diverse background, it suggests a deep connection to different ways of expressing things, which could definitely feed into the layers we hear in Inevitable.
Makes sense.
And the articles also mention her self-described genre, rock rosado, pink rock.
Pink rock, yeah. That's intriguing, isn't it?
It is.
Like when you hear that, you wonder if that blend is right there in the song. Maybe the pink is that initial tender ballad feel, and the rock is the disillusionment, the ambiguity, that kind of edge of harsh reality, maybe.
Oh, that's a really interesting way to frame it, yeah. And the articles, they also highlight she started really young, debuted at 6, joined a band at 13.
Wow, early start.
Yeah. And she's released other stuff, too. Not a Love Story in 2021, the EPs Inevitable itself in 2022, and City of Love in 2023. Shows a mix of pop, rock, R&B.
So she's been busy.
Definitely. She shared stages with big international artists, got recognition at the Premios Musica 503. She's clearly making waves.
And this part is particularly fascinating. This dual life she leads.
Oh, right.
By day, she's an industrial engineer. Works in logistics at a Coca-Cola plant in El Salvador.
An engineer.
Yeah, she literally says, an engineer by day, singer by night. How might that, that combination of analytical, practical work and creative expression shape her art?
That's such a great question. It makes you think, doesn't it? Her engineering side probably involves a lot of analytical thinking, right? Problem solving, precision.
Sure, yeah. Attention to detail.
Exactly. So it's plausible, maybe even likely, that this analytical perspective informs her songwriting, allows her to kind of dissect emotions, dissect relationships with this unique clarity, almost like conducting that emotional autopsy the review mentioned.
That's a fantastic connection. It's like she's bringing this different kind of lens to these really universal themes, love, heartbreak, a lens maybe sharpened by working in a totally different field.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, too, her latest single, Para Toda la Vida, For All Life, which came out April 2025, it apparently blends sentiment and nostalgia.
So maybe a different flavor from Inevitable.
Could be. Makes you wonder if that's a shift. Or maybe just showing another dimension of how she explores relationships compared to the deconstruction we hear in Inevitable.
It definitely suggests she's not just a one-note artist, right? While Inevitable seems to pick apart romantic ideals.
Yeah.
Para Toda la Vida might be looking at more enduring aspects, or maybe the bittersweet side of love and memory. It really highlights her complexity.
So yeah, bringing it all together, that TATANKA reviewer gave Inevitable a 4.8 out of 5, almost perfect.
Wow.
Calling it a haunting, genre-bending reflection on disillusionment, memory, and the lies we lovingly tell ourselves.
The lies we lovingly tell ourselves. Oof.
Yeah, they really stress how the song bravely pulls back the curtain on the mirage of love, telling a story most love songs just don't touch.
So ultimately, Inevitable isn't just a song, is it? It's more like an experience. It really invites you, the listener, to look past the shiny surface of romance.
Definitely.
And Vanessa Garcia, with her mixed artistic background and that, intriguing analytical engineer side, she crafts this really unique, really thought-provoking look at love's less idealized side.
Well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe we leave you with this question. Does Vanessa Garcia's way of deconstructing romantic love in Inevitable, does that resonate with your own experiences, your own views on relationships? And what does that unanswered ending, este amor al fines, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, definitely some things to mull over. We really hope you'll dig into Vanessa Garcia's music more. We've put links up for her Spotify, YouTube, Bandcamp, Instagram.
Give Inevitable another listen, maybe with all this context in mind.
Right. And perhaps check out her other work, like that latest single, Para Toda la Vida, just to see how her themes and her style keep evolving. It's definitely worth exploring.